Morning, physical science students. This is Mr. Nissen. I'm going to be walking you through the penny lab that we're going to be using this week to teach you about the scientific method. What we're doing in this lab is comparing the number of drops that we can fit of each of 3 different liquids onto a penny.
We are going to be looking at the first step in the scientific process. The first step is IDing the question. So in this experiment, our question that we are going to start with is, what is the greatest number of drops I can fit on a penny using 3 different liquids?
Alright, so what we're going to be doing in this experiment is simply taking drops of different liquids and putting them on the penny. So I'll use this eyedropper here. And this liquid on this side is hydrogen peroxide. And I'm just going to very gently add drops. There's 1 drop. Add a second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and so on. And I'll continue to do that until this drop leaves the side of the penny and basically spills over the penny. And so you can see that drop is kind of holding tight on the penny. Once it spills over onto the table, I would consider that the highest number of drops of hydrogen peroxide that can fit on a penny. All right, I'm going to do the same thing with oil here. I'm going to start adding these drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see we've still got our drop of oil on the penny. We're going to keep adding drops until we spill over the edge. All right, the next step in the scientific process then is to form a hypothesis. So you've seen we're putting different liquids on these pennies, and generally the way we make a hypothesis is an if-then statement. And so we came up with a hypothesis for you here in this first week. If different liquids have different properties, then the number of drops that will fit on a penny will be different. It's an if-then statement, and this is our hypothesis for this week. All right, so we're going to go ahead and finish off our penny with hydrogen peroxide drops on it. We're going to be very careful to count the number of drops. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I gotta get more hydrogen peroxide. 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 30, 31, 32, 30. So I would say that we held 32 drops before the water spilled over the edges of the penny. And you can see it actually held quite a bit of water, considering it's such a tiny little penny.
All right, so the next step in our scientific process is we need to conduct the experiment and record the data. As you saw, we just conducted our experiment and we got our data points. We are then going to be sharing a Google Sheet with you that you need to fill out because you need to fill in your water number of drops so we can compare all 3 liquids. So as you can see, for our hydrogen peroxide, we got 32 drops, and with our vegetable oil, we got 23 drops. You will be making a bar graph, and then we will be drawing conclusions, which is the last step of the scientific process.
So you may be asking yourself, I don't have an eyedropper, how am I supposed to do this experiment? To get drops of water onto your penny, you can simply use one of your digits, one of your fingers, and just dip it into the water and get enough water on there so that you can bring it over to the penny and apply that drop to the penny. And you just do that over and over until you get enough drops. You might want to keep your water close to the penny until you get enough drops to get a good number of how many drops you got on there. So there's that process. All right, the last couple of steps in the scientific method are analyzing data and forming your conclusions. For both of those parts, you're going to have components of your Canvas assignment address those. So you'll be making a bar graph in Google Sheets to analyze the data, and you will be given some conclusion questions in your Canvas assignment that you'll have to answer.